Heyo, it's Harper Savage, and today I got some sketchbooks. Now I know what you're thinking. Harper, what are you doing buying sketchbooks when it's the year of the purge? Well, my reasoning behind this is because these are not just any sketchbooks, they are Sakura branded sketchbooks. You know, the Micron brand, the Jelly Roll brand, the Koi watercolor brand? Yeah, that brand. I've never seen these before. They were at Michael's. I did have a voucher and a coupon, and I tried my best to not spend full price on these items, okay? And I know you're like, but Harper, those 87 sketchbooks you got from Joanne, I know, okay? I know. But that being said, let's take a closer look at these sketchbooks. So the bigger one here is cream paper. It's like a leather bound finish, I believe. I don't take my word for it. I don't know if it's real. It is inspired by the beauty of Japanese artistry. Sakura sketchbooks are a place for self-expression, for sketches, watercolors, drawings, dreams, and discoveries. Its pages invite you to create from the heart. Open it and let something beautiful begin. Now it has a pen holder and an expandable pocket with an elastic closure. Now we have some of the brand's products here. This is an oil pastel brand. I had no idea what this was. I had to look it up. But Koi is watercolors and the aqua pens, I think. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure on that. But the jelly rolls are those gel pens, and Microns are the fine liners a lot of artists like to use, and almost everybody has one in their pen collection, let's be real. Now, I didn't know that Sakura had a YouTube. That's cool to know. And then they have Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, you know. The works. And on the front, it is 160 pages. It is 94.5 pounds or 140 GMs, whatever that means. I know pounds. 94, more like 95 is really what I'm used to working in when it comes to sketchbooks. I'm saying sketchbooks with an underline because a lot of people do a lot of finished stuff in their sketchbooks and still call it a sketchbook, and it, like, to me, that's not a sketchbook anymore. That's like a I don't know, like a magazine, an art thingy. I don't know what to call it, but I feel like calling it a sketchbook is not what it is anymore. That's just a random pet peeve of mine I'm throwing in the middle of this video for no reason whatsoever. It's cream paper. It's saying it's thick paper. Acid-free, has this wonderful art design on here. I believe it says the artist on the back of the belly band here. Yeah, Dan Hageman, or is it maybe Hoffman? I don't know what that is, but sorry if I said your name wrong. And it is a nice, like, matte belly band. I usually don't see that often. It's usually some, like, gloss photo paper stuff. Here's the elastic, and here is the pen thingy. Let's take a look at the paper inside. It's saying it's cream. Let's see if it really is cream. Let's see the edges. It looks pretty white in the camera, but it is like an off-white color. And this is the end sheet, so we won't judge by that. But it looks like the end sheet and the paper are the same color. So let me get out a white piece of paper so you can see the difference here. See, there you go. This is my swatch paper for my Prismacolors. It just happens to be out, okay? But as you can see, white, not white. Okay, cream paper. It's not lying. I would not call this thick paper, but it is thicker than, like, copy paper. And I would say, yeah, it's like the 95-pound-ish range. It kind of low-key seems like the front is, like, smoother and the back has a little bit of a more of a tooth. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. There's like a little mark on that paper. It's like a subtle difference. I mean, maybe I'm just seeing things, but you can't see anything I'm talking about at all. Let's be real. I'm like, it feels smoother on this side, and it kind of feels the same, but like not as smooth. I don't know. Maybe I'm just imagining things here. Let's take the belly band off of this so you can see what it looks like in full here. It has that nice indent. That's why I'm inclined to believe it might be real leather if they put that stamp in there like that. It's like engraved. Let's go ahead and quickly look at the small sketchbook I got here. The reason why I got a small sketchbook is because it's black paper. They did have a bigger option for the black paper, but I didn't want to spend that much money on 2 sketchbooks when I already have paper that I really like that's black by Canson. So in case this didn't work out, I didn't want to like waste my money on a whole another sketchbook, you know what I mean? It feels pretty smooth. You can kind of see the tooth in this one though, but it's still pretty smooth. I would say it feels basically the same as the other one, maybe a little bit rough. And the back of it says the exact same thing. Now, I did look these up because I'm like, when did these come out? Like, I've never heard of this before. And the online version actually says something entirely different on their belly band. So I'm wondering if this is like specific for Michaels' inventory. I'm not sure. And this artwork is very pretty too. Who is this by? By Kim. You know what? I'm not even going to try to say that. Here, let me just zoom in on it so you guys can see for yourself what that name is, okay? Oh, by the way, this is an 8.3 by 11.7. It's not quite 8.5 by 11 standard, like printer paper size. And this one is 3.5 by 5.5. So this one's like really cute and tiny. It's like the smallest sketchbook I've ever had. So first I want to test out the paper in this one, because there's more stuff to test out in this one than on the dark paper. And what better way to test out this product than by using Sakura branded things, right? Now, unfortunately, I don't have the koi watercolors or those pastels, but I will be testing watercolors out on this paper too, amongst other things that are not exactly Sakura branded. So I'm just a little worried that this Enchi is not exactly the same paper that's in this book here, because to me it feels a little bit heavier, but maybe I'm imagining it. So I'm just gonna skip to this page here. It's glued to the Enchi anyway, so it's not really like 100% usable. So I will be putting one of my homemade blotter sheets behind here just so it doesn't ruin other pieces. Oh, and here's some incredibly white paper too. Now I might have to make a new one to fit this book a little bit because it's a little bit taller than my blotter sheet. I'll have to keep that in mind next time I'm near my machines. I did grab all the colors of the Microns I have. I don't have the fancy color ones. I just have black, gray, and sepia. I have 2 colors of gray, and oh my god, I can't tell the sepia apart from the black ones. What? I might have to clip this in here. Stop moving! Alright, I'm gonna start with the Microns after I write. Test page. I'm gonna tilt the book a bit here because I'm a human. I wouldn't say that's like the best feeling in the world how that wrote. I was expecting it to like glide smoothly for some reason. And the sepia, I only have 2. This one's barely working. Just so everybody can see what the colors look like on the page, being cream and all. Yellow 1. That ironically does not look any thinner than the 5. Okay, next we have the dark grays. And we have like a size 10. Oh my gosh. And then we have the light gray. We only have the 5 and the 01. Don't know what happened to the 10 if I had one. Alright, here's what those look like. I feel like my camera is not quite getting the right color here. Guess this is good. Now I'm gonna compare it to some other inking materials that I usually use. One being the Le Pen. And for fun, I'll do the other colors I have that are similar. But I also have like the regular ones too for some of them. I don't have it for the black one because I used it up. I guess I don't have it in gray either, just the brown. And let's test some other ones that I use occasionally. Like we got this paper mink here. Sorry, my handwriting is not the neatest. And I have the brush end of the paper mink as well. And I have the Arteza kind of similar one. And I also want to do some like regular dip pen stuff. Also grabbed a dip pen so I can write. I'm going to be testing out the paint markers next. We already wrote it up here, but we'll do it again. Alright, while we're still on the ink phase, let's do a hoo-hoo marker. And of course a Sharpie. While we have the alcohol markers kind of out, I'm gonna do a blend test. I decided on blue, and you'll see why in a minute. It's blue, I swear. It's just the camera setting's weird. Alright, it's looking more purpley on camera. I might adjust it in editing. It just looks like that because I was trying to match the paper color to the proper color, and now it made the blue purple. I can definitely see where I blended it, but I think it's possible to get them to blend together if I worked at it more without it being super obvious where I ran over the marker more. Okay, remember when I said you'll see why I chose blue in a second? It's because I don't have any black or brown, I mean this one might be brown, in the jelly rolls, but I do have blue, and I have a bunch of other blue pens. I swear it's blue. So let me readjust the color real quick. Alright, that's better. I think I got more of the colors to match the cream color paper, my skin tone, and the blue. And now these should look a bit more blue. Hopefully. I do feel like there's like a weird color thing happening here because of the cream paper, though. I don't know. Anyways, let's do the jelly roll. I have the moonlight ones in case anybody cares. Okay, so here's like the marker pen section done. I do feel like it was a bit rough drawing over it with like the fine liners. The brush related pens and the thicker liners did okay though. I am gonna prefer the light pen. That's just my preference of having a small brush tip liner, but it's not waterproof, so I usually go down with the Micron first if I use like a wet or medium like markers or watercolor. I'd say all the paint markers worked kind of the same. The Sharpies were a little dry, but it's because I use them all the time, so they're drying out. But I think if I had like a fresh one, it would have worked exactly like the Posca and the Grabby. I think for the Sharpie and the Ohuhu, like alcohol-based markers, it was a bit dry feeling. And I do see that like texture bubbling starting to happen that like Copic markers do all the time. Ohuhus don't really do that, but they're doing it on this paper and I don't know why. And then all the pens, with the exception of the Grabby and the ballpoint Bic, worked exactly the same on this paper. They were like pretty alright, you know, for paper. The ballpoint wrote really smooth on here though, and the Grabby just, they never write good because they're like that friction based pen where you can erase it or whatever. Now let's see how everything did when it comes to bleed through and ghosting. I see that the Winsor & Newton is still wet. I don't know why it was super wet because I think I grabbed the same amount of ink, but you know. Alright. So the things that bled through are the Sharpie and the Ohuhu, and a little bit with the Winsor & Newton because it was just so juicy at the beginning of that stroke there. So that's interesting. Now basically all the liners here were good. I was kind of expecting at least like the flare and the Arteza to bleed through, and even some of the like pens kind of bleed through sometimes. This is not from this project here. This was just already on the paper. So next we're going to be testing out wetter mediums like watercolors. So let me set up for that real quick. All right, first I'm going to do Grabby here on this other page. I'm gonna like try to water it down to like nothing, just to see how it spreads and stuff. Then I have Michael's brand or Artist Loft. I also have the Artistro we're gonna try here. And now I'm going to try these Derwent Graphitin ones. They're not watercolors, but they're not watercolors. They're very interesting because you can like erase it when it dries. And they also have like a sparkle to them. Speaking of sparkle, I have these Chameleon watercolors that have a sparkle to them. This one is called Gray, by the way. That's why I picked it, but I see it's a mistake. See, look, it's that one right there. Unless it's the copper one? Did I switch them around? No, that one's at the top there. I don't know why this one's called Gray. Looks very orange to me. It's supposed to be like for black paper, so maybe it shows up more gray on black paper. Then we have a Neocolor 2. While the watercolors are drying, I'm going to do a Prismacolor test on this page here. I grabbed 2 blues to blend together here. I would say they blend together pretty well on this paper. I think I'm only going to test the Prismacolor pencils because I think more people have the Prismacolors than my other brands like the Gold Faber Castels and the Crayola Blendables. Okay, so the Arteza is still wet, I guess, for some reason. But let's take a look at the paper and the warpage. It buckled quite a bit, so I'm not really sure if I would consider this like good for watercolors like they kind of claim that they are. It says in the description, sketches, watercolors, drawings. So when I looked this up online, I did find that the belly bands on their website is different than the ones that I found in Michael's. I just want to point out that it says perfect for Sakura products, ink, pencils, oil, pastels, charcoal. It doesn't mention the watercolors here, but they're advertising the Koi branding on them, but it specifically says brush pen. But on the belly band for this one that I purchased from Michael's, mentions watercolors on it. So that's why I wanted to do a watercolor test, even though I knew when I felt this paper it was not for watercolors. But it could be doable if you're like really light-handed with the water. And, you know, if you're just testing out products, it's gonna be fine. Okay, before we move on to the black paper, I want to do a pencil test here because, you know, it's a sketchbook. Obviously, we're going to be using pencil in here, right? So let me just put pencil here. Okay, I'm going to do the smudge test first. Really don't want to use my own finger, but I will. Kind of smudgy. I don't know how I feel about that. Now I'm going to do the eraser test. I'll just use the back of the pencil here. So I would say mid-tone to light, it erases like almost perfectly, but if it gets too dark, it might not erase as well on this paper. Like I can still kind of see it there, but I think it might be good enough if you're only sketching and using the sketchbook to plan your work and not have like finished pieces in here. Okay, before I give my final thoughts on this sketchbook, let's do some stuff in the black paper sketchbook. Okay, so I just want to point out this stamp is the same size on this sketchbook and the big sketchbook, and it kind of looks funny to me, like in a cute way, not like a why'd they do that way, you know? So this belly band says the same exact thing on it. 4 sketches, watercolors, drawings, dreams, discoveries. And we also have a lot more limited products to use in here, so I'm hoping to get through this kind of quick. Because as far as I know, the only things that I have that'll work on this paper are paint markers, specific Gold Faber Castell, and the jelly rolls. Okay, the only like Sakura branded thing I have that'll work on the black paper are going to be the jelly rolls. So let's do that first. I also have the Papermate Bright line to try. I believe it was these shimmering brush markers that worked on dark paper. So the Jelly Roll wrote really good, so did the Papermate Bright, and the shimmering brush like works about the same on this paper as I did with the Canson paper. You can check out the video where I reviewed the shimmering bright markers right there. All right, I'm gonna do the Chameleon watercolors next, just so it'll have some time to dry. I'm gonna do the aqua since we're doing blue. And next we have the Faber-Castells. Oh god, I don't remember the name of this line, but it's, you know, the ones that can draw on black. Black edition? Is that what it's called? Probably, right? They layer okay on this paper. Not my favorite though. Last we have paint markers. I do have this grappy one. Alright, sorry, I went a little sideways there. But everything that works on dark paper works how it's supposed to, and the page does buckle quite a bit for the watercolors. So again, I don't really think this is for watercolors. But it's nice paper. I am kind of wondering if it's dyed differently than the Canson one, because sometimes the Canson one like comes off on the paint marker, like black comes up onto the nib, but it didn't seem to do that with the Posca, Grabby, or Sharpie this time. So I don't know, maybe this is slightly better than Canson black paper. We did quite a bit of testing today, and I guess my final thoughts and opinions are this is not meant for watercolors, and it's probably really not meant for markers either. But you could get away with using alcohol markers if you really, really wanted to. Like, you're not going to be able to use both sides of the paper. And I kind of feel that in general about everything is you're not going to want to sketch on both sides here and close the book, because I think the pencil will smudge over time. If you put a fixative or like a sealer on it, it might be fine. I almost feel like maybe the Prisma will smudge over time too, but I'm not really sure about that. I am, however, really impressed by none of the liners bleeding through like at all here. I do feel like this paper is a bit dry, so your markers are probably going to run out a bit faster. I don't think it's like super smooth of like a writing experience though, but it's not the worst. And I do think this black paper is pretty on par with the Canson black paper. It might be a different formula because, like I said earlier, the paint marker tips did not come up black, and that doesn't happen all the time with the Canson, but it does happen sometimes, like if you use white especially. So as you see, I'm not doing an artwork today just because this did take me quite a while because I wanted to test as many things as I could. However, this will most likely be the next sketchbook I move into, and it's gonna be soon because I don't have very many pages left in my giant 200 plus page sketchbook, and I'm really excited to move into a new one, and I have to justify buying this is really what I'm trying to say here, so I better move into this one next. We can do a little strap test here before we end off, and also put our pen in the loop here. The only thing I don't love about this is that like it's gonna capture natural oils that are on your fingers. This is kind of dumb, the pen being like bigger than the book, right? I mean, it's cute though still. I do feel like it's a bit loose for the jelly rolls to be in, so I'd be worried about losing the jelly roll. This is okay. I feel like this would be less likely to slip out. I mean, I know that the jelly rolls have like the little pen clip thing on here, but the cap comes off. So I'm just worried about it like falling out. But I think the Microns would be fine for sure. Like, I actually feel like the loop is a bit tighter on the bigger book here, so maybe this one's just like wasn't stitched quite right. Like, I think the jelly roll might be safer in this one just a little bit, but I still wouldn't risk it, to be honest. All right, let's try pencil as well because they are sketchbooks. I would say you'd have to have 2 pencils in this to make them stay. Let me grab another one. Maybe you have one of those like long retractable erasers that are like kind of pencil shaped, but they're kind of thicker, so you probably won't be able to fit that and a pencil in here. So I don't know. Choose wisely, I guess, what you're gonna bring with you. Also, I didn't even mention it has a marker, like a bookmark. Let me see the quality on that if I can get to it. Okay, it comes out about 2.5 inches from the book, in case you're wondering. I can't show it very well because it'll just be cut off on the screen here, but here. And let me check the stitching real quick. All right, I'm giving it a good pull. I think it's pretty good in there, and it holds the page as you would expect it to. I do feel like this band's a little loose, and I think that could be for a good reason. Like on both of them, I feel like it's not very taut, and that could just be because it's going to compensate for if you put stuff in the book, or if you do use watercolor in it, it'll like not have to stretch as far. But that could also mean your book won't be as like firmly closed if you don't do that stuff. But again, it's like a minor thing. And let's check out that back pocket. It's just made of paper. It's like the typical, oh wait, hold on, this one has a ribbon on the edge. Can you see that? Like, I think it's still paper on one side, but it's like a ribbon on the other side to make it like a little bit reflective. But you know, it's for stuff and thingies. Let's check out this one. I am curious, is it black? Oh, it is. It's got a black ribbon. That's cute. Like, it comes out pretty far. I never use the back pockets. Am I the only one who kind of just doesn't care about that? But that is going to be it for me today. If you guys want to check out the Joanne sketchbook review, or a sketchbook that's no longer available, you can tap the thumbnail here. If you want to catch up on anything you missed, you can tap the thumbnail here. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to do all the cool YouTube things of commenting, liking, subscribing, and turning on that notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!